Here we go. Oh my goodness. For those of you who are going to listen and watch this show, you're in for a treat. We have the Jason Stephenson from Australia, of no other beautiful place that you can imagine, Australia. And he's going to teach us how to manage stress and master relaxation. So I'm pretty sure we're about to get started. Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who have come back to the show over and over and over again, I am so grateful for you. And for those of you who say, oh, I just stumbled upon your show. Well, this is what the show is about. I am committed to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my viewing and my listening friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, speaking of dreams, this has been something that I've been working on for a while, and you're going to feel like this is a big deal too. So if you, and the topic today is about stress. And, I want to know, how do you deal with stress? Do you eat yourself? Do you numb yourself? Do you obsess yourself, bite people's heads off? Do you throw a pity party? How do you do it? Well, it's time to focus on alternative ways. We talk about alternative ways to heal. Well, this is going to be an alternative way to bring down your stress levels and learn to relax, because Jason Stephenson is in the house. He's got the most soothing voice. He has been involved in the meditation, relaxation, music field for the past 15 years, and he is a best-selling author, and his YouTube meditation video, Sleep Music channel, has grown to over 850 million subscribers. I'm hoping that he will send me a few, just like maybe a few 100,000. That's all I want. And so today, we are going to not only learn from him, he's going to share his story and how all of us can achieve this level of mastery when it comes to relaxations. I am going to be taking lots of notes because, life can be stressful, but how we deal with it is so important. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am so grateful that Jason Stephenson is here to do just that. Welcome, Jason, to the Lillian McDermott radio show.
Hello, Lillian. Thank you very much for having me here. And could I just add too that it's 850,000 subscribers, not million, but 200 million views.
That's so right.
It's close. It's close.
You know what? They say that I have a crystal ball. So with that in mind, it's going to be 850 million someday. But I meant to say 850,000, and that you have over millions of downloads. Yeah. So good for you. I want to hear a little bit about your background and what led you to the start of a beautiful career for you.
Wow. I mean, that's a big question. It goes off in all different tangents, but I guess how this section of my life happened is I started to get more into meditation heavily, probably about 15 years ago. And the first point was that I wanted to give to children first through a CD called I Believe in Me, which was a meditation and relaxation CD for kids. Mm-hmm. And so I did that and then used YouTube to promote my CD. Mm-hmm. And then the YouTube just grew, just continued to grow and grow and grow and really like a snowball. And that's how that all begun in short.
But how did you think, okay, I'm going to make a CD for relaxation and meditation for children? Prior to that, what was your background? Would you like to share a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. Look, I went through troubling times myself, went through lots of stress and emotional upheaval. And, I was back in 2005, I was got a shock diagnosis, if you like, of being HIV positive. And that was the really like a karmic kick up the butt, if you like, of you need to get your act together, and back then I wasn't I didn't think much about it, like in terms of responsibility, but holy mackerel, now, absolutely, I know that was a pivotal point for me to go another way. And so I changed that terminology of HIV to living here in vitality.
Oh, love it.
And that was the point where I just took, I took my power back, and I wanted to give as much as I could instead of taking. So
when you hear these diagnoses, because there's a lot of people that are out there receiving a diagnosis at this moment, like I said in the intro, we could throw a pity party, and and most people would say, oh yeah, that's okay. But at what point did you decide, this is not going to be a pity party, this is going to be empowering for me?
Yeah, it probably took me 1 year, 12 months. And so then I went with that. And once it really truly hit, I knew then that things were going to change after that year. Things were going to grow.
Okay. I told you this is going to be a very special show, and we're going to continue our conversation with Jason Stephenson when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. I can imagine that was a very, very trying time in your life. And I'm sure, I don't know what your situation is with your diagnosis currently, but I do a lot of shows on holistic health, and many doctors that come on the show that have been able to reverse HIV. And so
lovely to hear that. Lovely to hear that. And I truly do believe that, Lillian. I truly do believe that. I think there was a lot of, when it first started, there was a lot of the fear factor in the media and everything like that, years ago, and which was really dangerous for so many people, because I know what the fear does, because I saw my blood counts go down within a week. It just hugely went down. And that I can only relate to fear. Fear is absolutely so crippling. It's unbelievable.
I changed the acronym to fear. I made it. I write for Florida Today, and I turned fear into an acronym, just like you did with HIV. When you talked about here in vitality, that's just so beautiful, because you can determine how you want to live your life. And fear for me used to be very crippling, but I worked through it. I worked through my fear because I hated that feeling. And so fear is an acronym that stands for follow every avenue required.
Oh, I like that. Oh, I haven't heard that. I like that.
I created it. That's why you were supposed to meet me today, so that you would use that follow every avenue required, because when you are in fear, it's paralyzing. But if you follow that vision and follow that dream, and if you know that the universe, that universal God that's in us, if a spark of that God is in us, we can do all things. So all we have to do is follow every avenue required.
Wow. I'm going to give that some thought, that one. I like that.
Yeah, we have to continue our conversation on YouTube, your YouTube page.
Yeah, for sure.
No, really, truly. It's a shift. I'll send you, if you want to read my article that I wrote on fear. And
please do.
I would. And yeah, so I'm glad that was something that meant something to you. But follow every avenue required to live the life that you desire. Many of us focus on what we don't want, and so if we focus on what we want, but I'd love to talk to you about where you are privately, about your diagnosis, if you'd like to share with me. If not, that's fine too. But it looks like we're ready to get started. And you ready? Here we go.
Sure.
Okay. Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott radio show, where we always grow with one another. And today's teacher is Jason Stephenson. Jason has been in my ear for a long time. He has been the person that I've been listening to, and I think I may have developed a bit of an accent. I don't know. Was that Australian or what? Put a shrimp in the Barbie and I'm vegan. So I don't know. Something is going on with me with Jason. So I'm just very grateful that he's with us today. He is a super, super wonderful man who has taken his story, his mess, and turned it into his mission and masterpiece. And so today we are learning from Jason Stephenson that everything has purpose, everything has meaning. So let's expand a little bit on your story, Jason. You know, as you take this, you said it took a year, and as you are kind of embracing your life and saying, you know, this is my life today. How am I going to live the rest? How am I going to? What's going to be my legacy? What's going through your mind that got you from this horrible situation to where you feel that you're now empowered?
Well, I must say that, you know, at the time, it was when the movie The Secret had just come out, and I was listening to that every day, and sometimes more than once a day. I was filling my mind with as much positivity as I could, and that movie alone, that was the trigger when I realized that, hey, hold on, I am in control here. Don't let that be. That's not controlling me. I am in my mind. My consciousness is in control. And that was the point where I thought, okay, let's do something about this. And it was also the day when I was walking along the beach when I turned that, I just carved in the sand, here in vitality. And once I saw it written down, it was like this wash of empowerment, self-empowerment just come over me. And I realized at that point too that I also had to begin to give as much as I could, and especially to children, because I wanted children to grow up with self-love, and it's something that I didn't have so much of. Now, I had a loving family and everything, but it was an internal thing for me, of things that I picked up at school. If I got picked on, it was this self-love that I didn't have. And I wanted kids to know that, you know, with their own uniqueness, that they're beautiful and that they have gifts to give. And that's what got me out of this, by shifting the focus, I guess, from myself to others, to giving to others. And that was a pivotal point too.
Isn't it true? It is so true that, you know, when we can be takers, and some people can be, it's a both of them. We don't know which one is worse, but it's finding that middle ground, whether you're a taker and that's all you do is take, or you're a giver and that's all you do give. We have to figure that balance out between, you know, giving and receiving.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it is important, of course, to receive as well, you know, to take on love and to receive love. But, oh my goodness, yeah.
And so
I'm finding, more and more now is about, you know, for me, the more I'm giving, the more I'm focusing on giving, it's being returned.
You can never outgive. You can never outgive the universe. You can never outgive God. And that's such a wonderful awareness. And I don't know, between you and I, and for those of you who are listening as well, between you and I, those who listen, I sometimes feel like a selfish giver, because I know that when I give, I receive more than I give. Does that make sense?
I kind of get that. I get that, because it's almost like it's a law now that, well, it has been a law, you know, that it just, when we're giving out there, because we are a part of out there as well, because there's no out there and in here, it's one. And so, of course, when we're beginning to give, yes, it's coming back, and yeah, it is. I get that totally. I understand where you're coming from.
That's awesome. So here we go. So what was your background that you felt that you wanted to do something for children? You wanted to do something for children. You created this audio Was it a video, an audio? I've never seen it. So
It's just a CD, a
it's a CD.
CD.
But what was your
Excuse me.
background before that you felt that this is something you wanted to do?
Well, you see, I'd come from a background in singing and performance. And so it was interesting because whilst I was in the studio doing recording of singing albums and stuff, I was always watching the technician and I was always fascinated by seeing how he edits.
Mm-hmm.
And little did I know at the time, but I was picking up on that to do my own recordings later. And so that was, that was like an affirmation there that was going on. So
So,
that's,
so you won some awards for singing at this what was that like? This competition that you were in, or?
that was amazing. It was a Buddhist songwriting contest, and I went in it twice in, I think, Taiwan and Malaysia as well. What an amazing journey that was, to stay at temples across Taiwan and Malaysia and to get to sing in front of huge crowds. It was an amazing experience, and people from all faiths and all religions were in this contest, including, can I say, a Catholic nun was actually playing the piano for me, backing me.
Nice.
Yeah.
So ecumenical of you.
Yeah. And so she ended up, I will tell you that the song, one year I performed the song, it won the whole
Is
entire
that 2005?
Or 6 or 7,
2006? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was the one earlier on. And it was the Catholic nun playing the piano at the time that, she won the award. I was the singer, she wrote more of the music, and it was an amazing experience.
How wonderful. So because as a vessel, because when you open your mouth, you sing, right? You sing the message, and you're the vessel in which this tool goes through you.
Yes.
You deliver that also through your meditation. So at what point do you start focusing? You're singing, you're making some changes, you're doing something for the children. Did you do a meditation for the children, or did you do a song for them? What was it that you did?
Yeah, I did a guided meditation, a spoken meditation, but I also did affirmations in word and song, because I knew that children would be more wanting to sing affirmations and fun affirmations. And so that's how that singing sort of come into it all. And then I ended with a guided meditation, a spoken meditation, which is, as you said, it's, we're like vessels, and
That's right.
it can pour through us.
Yes.
God. Yeah.
That's right. I also sing. And so I know that I just say, I open my mouth, and then God's words come out. And and when you truly believe that, people hear it with the intention that it was sung.
Wow.
I could have sung the worst song, and somebody picked it up the way I intended to hear it. I'm like, thank God for this. I can't, on my own merit, I can't do it, but God can do it, right?
Yeah. I'm only just realizing that now with my spoken word meditations, because I wasn't aware that people could feel what was going through me. But now I've become aware of that. And now when I do my meditations, I really set the intention of what I want to give out, and then just allow that to come through me. And I'm really loving that now. I'm loving that so much.
Well, so now you're going into doing the meditation. When did you start meditation practice yourself? Had you always done this, or is this something that was new for you as a result of your diagnosis of HIV?
I had let me tell you a little quick story, if I can.
I love it. Tell us a story.
I had my first meditation experience before I even knew what the word meditation meant. And I think I was about 9 years of age.
Wow.
And I got to go around Australia with my parents and my 2 brothers, 6 months off school. And I was always alone. I always enjoyed being alone. And so I would often walk away from everyone. And at this particular place in Geeky Gorge in Western Australia, I think it's Western Australia, I sat on the riverbank and just sat there and I felt like there was a moment that just came over where this peace washed over me as a 9-year-old boy. And I had everything in that moment that I could possibly have ever wanted. and it was an absolute moment of peace and beauty. And I'm getting goosebumps when I think about it, because it takes me back. And I realized that that in itself, what I was doing when I was sitting there was meditation. And then I ended up going to a class when I was 16 years of age with my mum. And that was sort of my formal introduction to meditation.
Now
And then, yeah.
go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
And
Keep
then,
going.
yeah. And then later I attended, a Buddhist monastic retreat. And that was the clincher for me, after doing a silent retreat of 10 days, when I realized, the power of this, how amazing it is.
So as a child at 9 years of age, you felt that peace, you understood that peace, but yet you forgot about it.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
You forgot about it because that became your motivation later on. Your motivation was, I want to help children remember that 9-year-old I was.
Wow. Lillian, I've never thought of that. Wow.
You're so sweet.
Truly.
You're so cute. You're so cute. No, but seriously, when you said you did the video or the audio to help children,
yes.
But then you're telling me now that when you were 9, you knew that. I'd love to talk about off the air what was the cause of your forgetting that 9-year-old little boy. I wonder what that was, because there's a 9-year-old child in all of us. There's a depending on where we felt that connection with God at one point of our life, something happens that causes us to forget. And it's that fear we talked about during the break before, or during, was it the break or during the first segment? Fear can really paralyze us to keep us from going that next step. But how wonderful that you finally connected with that 9-year-old little boy. And you bringing that 9-year-old little boy every time you do a meditation.
I am so grateful now that I've connected with that 9-year-old boy. That almost makes me tear up hearing that, because, that little kid inside now, I'm giving him everything I can possibly give him and more. And then through that, I want to give, to be of absolute service to so many people, children and adults alike, to find, I guess, that 9-year-old within.
Yes. And everybody has a different age, of that awareness, that connection to that, the universe, the God of the universe. I always stay away from labeling or calling the name, different names, different denominations call God. And I just say, we all know intuitively who that God is for us. And so it's so nice that we can reconnect, because when you look at a child, they're like, they're in heaven all the time. It's only when there's that entitlement, when there's that, where we forget that union, that people have that, like that I'm not enoughness type of thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break here, because now we're going to talk about meditation and teach us how you can take all that you've learned and us bottle it up for ourselves. And we're going to continue our conversation with Jason Stephenson when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. This has been so special, Jason. I feel like I'm just like spending such quality time with you.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you just touched on something so beautiful then. I never thought of it that way, the way you spoke about it. So
thank you. That's very sweet. That's very sweet. Now okay. Jason, this has been like so special to me. I have been listening to you in my ear for such a long time. And I know that, and so that that whenever I'm feeling like I need a little lift, I pick the perfect Jason Stephenson's greatest hits. Did you know that you're impacting the world the way you are?
No, because it's really happened so quickly, to be honest, and over the last 2 years, really. So it started off really small, and when I was doing meditations at the beginning, initially I was more concerned about technical aspects and about how do I hope it sounds okay and all this. Now I guess I've kind of mastered that, so now I can focus on the more of the giving and being of service. And
It's the singing. It's the singing, because I saw you in a video. I saw you singing for that competition that so I was doing some research. I was stalking you, Jason. I've been stalking you for a while.
wow, very
But,
good.
well, I saw you do the competition. I was like, is that Jason? Because it's so far away. I'm like, is that him singing? Like, I knew you entered a competition, but I didn't know you were singing it. I thought maybe it was your music that you had done. And I'm just like, is that him? But you're a great singer. But you
Thank
can
you.
tell a technical singer, and you can tell a singer that just bears its soul, and or her soul, his or her soul, and it translates in your word too. It translates in your words.
Perfect. That's
Perfect.
wonderful.
Awesome. Excellent. No, really, seriously. And I learned about you from Karina Lamalfa. Karina Lamalfa has been a guest on my show. She's a wonderful chef. And she and I met for the first time after doing shows like on and off for a year. And she said that she was going through a stressful time, and that she listens to you all the time. I said, well, who is he? And so I learned about you. And then I thought, well, I must have him on my show. And
Wow.
here you are.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
So I have
Wow.
some questions from Karina Lamalfa coming up soon after this break. So I texted her last night. I said, guess who I'm going to be talking to today? She knew it was coming. And so I said, you get to ask a couple of questions, but I'll get to ask them for you. So we're about to go back. And are you ready here? This is where I talk about my social media. Take notes, because I want you to like my pages. So here we go. I can see that we're ready to start. Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott radio show, where we always learn from one another. And you can hear us worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com, even Australia. You can hear us all over the world. I am so excited. It's such an honor to interview such wonderful teachers on the show. This has been a classroom. This is my classroom for the last 7 years, and I have just loved every lesson. And I hope that you are too. This is where we take responsibility for our life. And it is so wonderful to hear when our guests on the show, when our teachers on the show have learned that lesson too. And they come here to teach us again and again this lesson, just like the 9-year-old Jason Stephenson that knew he was connected to God, to the universe, that he was special. That's what we relive every day, that we learn that we are responsible for everything in life. And when we create everything, the good news is we can reinvent it. We can recreate it. And so this is what we talk about at whenyounneedafriend.com. I want to encourage you to become a subscriber. And while you're in there, check out all the different ways that you can become a friend of the show through social media, Facebook, Instagram. I'm not even going to talk about all the different ways that you can like me on social media. And then also YouTube. We have had some special conversations. I feel like I have like my brother from another mother with Jason Stephenson. And, our conversations off the air, if you go to whenyounneedafriend.com, subscribe, do it now. Because if you say you're going to do it later, it's not going to happen. Do it now. And so once you subscribe, the show gets sent to you right to your phone, to your email. And you can do the same with YouTube. So when you subscribe to YouTube, see, I want to join Jason with his 850 million. It's 1,000. I say million because I'm clairvoyant like that. But anyway, so I want you to join us in this movement of taking 100% responsibility for our life, because it leads us to empowerment and freedom. It's not about blame, shame, fault, or duty. It's about empowerment and freedom. So go to whenyounneedafriend.com. Like I said, become a subscriber. Check out all the different shows that we've done. And when you become a subscriber, you get my 90-day challenge to self-love ebook. But that's not all that you get. You get the show sent to you. Now, there's different ways that you can subscribe. So make sure stay connected. So choose the one that's best for you, or choose them all. Doesn't matter. Let's stay connected. You can always call 407-373-5959 if you have any questions or if you need a friend. So and while you're there at whenyouneedafriend.com, I need a favor. Check out my sponsors, because without my sponsors, the show would not happen. So please make sure you support my sponsors the way they're supporting the show. So today we're talking about stress, and I can imagine all the different levels of stress that with meditation, and Jason's going to give us some tips on how to become masters of, guess what? De-stressing and becoming a master at relaxation. So Jason Stephenson, thank you so much. I've been listening to you for a long time, and you've been in my ear helping me relax. So thank you.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute
Yes.
pleasure. Just glad that you're relaxing too, that you can use that to relax. It's awesome.
Absolutely. And, for those of you who would like to go to Jason Stephenson's email or website, it's jasonstephenson.net. And there's so many buttons for him too that you can go and join all the things that he's doing. So let's talk about stress. You took a year from your diagnosis of HIV positive, and then you said, okay, I am building myself up, and you got to this point of total empowerment, total acceptance, and now you are helping others, which is the fourth stage of taking ownership and responsibility, is using what you learn for the greater good. And so you're there. So help us, as we're listening to you, get to that place too. If somebody is right now very stressed and needs to accept and embrace and move on to that mastery, what do you say?
I think one of the first things that we really need to connect with, even just aside from meditation, is the breath. And this can be done anywhere and anytime, because we forget, like seriously, we keep breathing, but we can hold our breath, especially in times of stress and anxiety. Whereas if we become conscious of our breathing and say, okay, give yourself a reminder, breathe. And it's amazing that one big breath, just how that can even help just to release a lot of the stress and anxiety. It sounds so simple, but it is something that we truly do forget to do. And you can feel the tension in the shoulders as you hold the breath. And so the more we can connect to that at any stressful time, just say now, even just breathe and feel the difference within the body itself. And it's like a relaxation for the body and mind. So that's the first thing I say.
And I want to add to that, most of us aren't breathing correctly. Most people are breathing through their chest. But the breathing you're talking about is like this breath of fresh air that comes from your diaphragm. Do you want to share a little bit more about that, Jason?
Yeah, it's just sending the breath all the way down, breathing in through the nose and sending it down to like the belly area, the diaphragmatic area. And as you breathe in, you'll be able to, if you put your hands in that area, around that belly area, you can begin to feel that air go in and expand, almost like a balloon going in. And then when that breath comes out, you'll feel the belly contract. It just lessens, like a balloon again going down. Because when we breathing in from the chest up the top, it sort of keeps it shallow. It's not a nice deep breath. You want to make that really fill that lower part up. It works wonders. It really does work wonders.
And what's the next step that we need to do as we take that cleansing breath in any situation? If we're feeling stressed, that cleansing breath, then what's our next step?
I think that's one thing that we can do anytime, that breath work. However, I think one thing that that is really good to do is to give yourself a commitment to this, to do this sitting down every day. And now look, even if you start off doing that for 2 minutes a day, just 2 minutes, just sit and be still and do that deep breathing, focusing on that breath going in and out. And during this time, I understand that, sometimes people get the wrong idea about meditation, that they think that it requires us to eliminate thoughts. And it's the wrong idea of meditation. It's not about eliminating thoughts. It's about accepting and putting out the welcome mat and allowing the thoughts to come and go. And all we need to do is to simply, when that thought comes in, acknowledge it, accept it. We don't have to follow where it leads, but then we can train our mind from that point to go back to the breath, focusing on that breath going right down, deep down into the diaphragm, belly expanding and contracting until the next thought comes along. And then you do the same thing. You acknowledge, accept that thought, and then back to the breath again and again.
So the focus is the breath every single time. So if we find ourselves going to that, whatever reoccurring thought is, because we have so many thoughts in a day and they're bound to, sneak up. If that thought sneaks up, do you write that thought down? Do you stop and you say, okay, maybe this thought is coming back because it's a thought that I've been trying to neglect. Maybe my body is telling me, acknowledge me and do something about it. What if that happens? What do you do?
Yeah, I think, and that's a good point there. I think acknowledging that thought, and if you know, and your body will know, and you will know that if this is something that needs to be tended to, then just for those 2 minutes, though, you can say, okay, I acknowledge this thought. I'm going to come back to this after this practice. Right now, this breathing practice is my time for me, but I will attend to that thought later. And I might add here that when I say focusing on the breath too, you can actually focus on either the expansion and contraction of the belly, the stomach going in and out, or you might even like to focus on the actual entry point of where the breath enters through the nostrils. You can feel the sensations of it coming and going through there. So it becomes like a physical act too of acknowledging the breath, the sensations of what is happening in your body as you breathe in and out.
Do you find yourself focusing on different parts of your breathing as you're doing meditation?
Yes, I do. Sometimes, and that's okay too. If you want to go from the area of, feeling that sensation of the breath coming into the nostrils, and then you might then be aware of the belly rising and falling. And if you want to stick with that for a while, that's okay as well. So you can go in between wherever it takes you, wherever your mind wants to focus.
Do you ever focus on the breath going in and kind of visualize it going to different organs or different parts of your body and going into your lungs and going into your diaphragm, coming back out and coming out of your mouth? Do you ever go that far?
Yeah, sometimes I can even, it can help to give it a color too. Going
color?
In and out.
Oh,
yeah.
We're going to get all these tips. We're going to get all these tips from Jason Stephenson off the air. So I want to encourage you to sign up with YouTube. Go to whenyouneedafriend.com, sign up with YouTube. And we're going to continue our conversation with Jason Stephenson when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay. So the 2 questions by Karina Lamalfa. So she wants to know, which one is your most downloaded meditation?
Wow.
I would just tell her, just look it up, Karina. It's very easy. Go to YouTube.
Oh, no, I know the one. I know the one now.
Which one is it?
It's Floating Amongst the Stars. Definitely.
I'm going to listen to that one today.
Yeah, it's one of my earlier ones, but it is a beautiful one. It's a beautiful one.
Floating among the stars. I love it. Okay. That's a nice little visual. Okay. And then the next question she has is that stages in meditation. So, okay. So I took that and I kind of enhanced that question. There are people that are beginners versus people that are seasoned meditators. You do the guiding. So you guide people through meditation. Is all that your music, Jason? Did you create all the music?
No, I have a musician friend that, well, some of it's royalty free, but I have a musician friend in Israel that does such beautiful music for me now. And yeah, he's amazing. I feel very blessed to work with him.
So have you, like with meditation, have you always done the guided meditations, or do you do transcendental meditation? Do you do, what other meditation forms do you practice?
Do I practice?
Hmm.
Well,
What,
certainly
how many different ways do you meditate?
for me, I mainly come from the mindfulness background, and it's mainly the breath and awareness of, whether that be awareness of sounds around me, the breathing, the sensations. Yeah, so that, and I don't listen to guided meditations. I rarely listen to guided meditations. I like to do my meditation practice on my own, in silence.
But you have all your meditations are guided, right?
Yes.
And you don't
Yeah.
listen to yourself?
No, you know, I listen to other people. I love, John Kabat-Zinn. In fact, he inspires me. He's an amazing man. I mean, he brought a lot of meditation to the West, the mindfulness meditation to the West, and he's amazing. Yeah.
Very good, very good. So, what I would love, because this is going to be our next segment coming in, would you
Mhm.
do like an impromptu meditation for us, and maybe like a 1 minute kind of meditation at
Yeah,
one point? Awesome. Okay,
sure
we're going to
thing.
get our own Lillian McDermott meditation from Jason Stephenson. This is pretty good. Okay, so I also would like some more tips on relaxation, different things that you do to kind of set the tone, and I think that we're ready to get started.
Good.
Okay. This is our last segment, Jason. I'm going to boo-hoo. Okay. Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott radio show, where we always learn from one another. Today, I am so excited. It is such an honor to meet Jason Stephenson. Though those of you who'd like to learn more about his meditations, there's so many people who are in the same boat with you. But you can go to YouTube, and I don't know if you go to jasonstevenson.net, you can click on to his meditations. There's also different ways that you can enjoy Jason's meditations. What a wonderful gift that came from such a tragic time in your life.
Mm. But tragic. See, that's the whole thing. We think it's tragic, but it ends up being the most beautiful, life-changing event, which I can almost say that, my goodness, I'm grateful for that.
Isn't
As
it?
crazy as that sounds, but
No, it's not crazy at all. It is not. It makes a lot of sense that, you have given up trying to change what is. And that right there has freed you up to receive the information that now you're giving to everybody.
yeah, yeah. So I feel like, actually through that, it's given me like life purpose, if you like.
Mm. That's so wonderful. So, because I've been listening to you, and I just want to encourage you all, my listening friends, go to jasonstevenson.net and to learn more about his meditations. It's a great, you have different lengths of time. How do you know what the meditation is going to be? Do you sit there and you write it out, or do you
Mm.
just speak into and just come and are just wonderful without even thinking?
There's a couple of answers to that question. I originally started out with having writers write for me, and one in particular, Amelia, has just, I've got to tell you, when I first got back her first script, it was almost like she was in absolute alignment to my soul.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
and I would give her ideas, and she would come back with the script, and it was almost like it was written that I would write that script. And so when I speak that, it was an alignment with I reckon with God's source. It was an
Mhm,
amazing
mhm,
thing. But only in recent days, in recent months, I've been doing meditations through my guide. I mean, I guess that's another story, but
mhm,
I have a spirit guide, if you like. Also, his name is David, and which is a part of God connection. And I just have to say, okay, let's do this, and that flows through me. and it's so beautiful. And so whatever comes out, comes out. And I trust that. I trust that it's going to be all good and okay.
That's wonderful. I wish we had some like Jason Stevenson's kind of music playing in the background, but we really don't. We can create our own breath and turn our breath into music. But if you would allow us the opportunity to hear you and put us into that relaxation, but before we do that, what are some of the things that we need to do in order to embrace that relaxation? What can we do?
Aside from meditation, are you
Yeah,
speaking about?
like we have to set ourselves up for success. If I'm going to go to the gym at 4:30 in the morning, if I don't take my clothes out the night before, I'm not going to the gym. So I'm just saying, like put away your cell phone, whatever. What are some of the things, light a candle? What are some of the things that you do to get into that space?
In all honesty, before I go to bed, my phone, can I tell you that my phone is virtually off, constantly on do not disturb mode.
Oh,
And so,
nice.
and that's constantly, and much to a lot of my friends dislike, but I get back to people when I get back to people. So I allow myself to be in control of what my environment, if you like,
Mm-hmm.
and that and any disturbances, because I do a lot of recording as well. But especially at nighttime, when just before switching off, definitely get that phone off. Don't allow all notifications and everything. Get that off. I like to have a hot bath. I know that some people don't have baths, but for me, that's a beautiful form of relaxation. And sometimes I can put on some music on my little MP3 player
Mm-hmm.
and have some music playing. But I think
I think that's pretty good. I think you've come
yeah,
up with some major stuff that we don't realize, that we're so attached and so um, enslaved to um,
oh,
our appliances. We have our phones, our tablets, our children now are getting addicted soon, right after, like when they're 3 or 4. So it's important that we disconnect with the world.
for
So
sure.
would you be able to guide us into a meditation?
I would love to do that. Just a short meditation, but
Yes.
I can just show you the power in just a minute. So just making sure that, so we begin just by sitting up and making sure that your back is straight, but don't hold it rigid, just almost like a mountain, a majestic mountain that's open and aware. And we can begin by closing your eyes and taking in 3 deep breaths in through the nose and sending that breath all the way down to that lower belly area.
If you're driving, please keep your eyes open. Go ahead.
Oh,
I
yes,
need to say
please.
that. I just need to say
Yes. Yes.
that.
Please don't close your eyes if you're driving.
Okay, let's start all over. Okay.
So taking in those 3 deep breaths and then releasing the first breaths out through your mouth. And in doing that, blowing that breath out and releasing any tension with that on the breath out, letting it go.
And we are breathing in through our nose and releasing through our mouth.
And now returning that breath to a comfortable rhythm for you, breathing in and out now just through your nose. And at this time, whilst you're doing this, just focusing on either the breath entering your nostrils or the breath going down and feeling that belly rise and fall, whatever feels comfortable for you, whatever you can acknowledge is happening. And during this time, if any thoughts are coming into your mind, just allow them to be. You don't have to try to push them away. Just accept them as they are. Acknowledge them And then just send your mind, send your thought back to your breathing, back to seeing the breath going in and out. You might want to check in on your shoulders just to see, just to drop them. Sometimes we store a lot of tension there. Just drop them, release. And now, just in this last moment, I'd like you just to now visualize a golden light, that you're breathing in a golden light, and it's going to flood your body with peace and with love.
Mm.
And so just breathing this in, and as you breathe this in, see it filling your entire body from the top of the toe, from the toes all the way up to the top of your head.
I love it. I think we need to continue this off the air so that maybe we can give a bonus for those of you who want to go onto YouTube and have a special meditation while you are home safe, not driving. But Jason, it's been such a pleasure to not only listen to you when you don't even know who I am, but today to get to know you and see your heart today. It's been such an honor.
Thank you, Lillian. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much for getting in contact with me. I appreciate it.
Without a doubt, I am going to continue making contact with you. And I want to encourage you, my listening friends, we live in a stressful world. It is time. It's time to take our health back. This is a great step. And please remember that I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We're going to continue this conversation afterwards. So tune in at whenyouneedafriend.com. And please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Yay. That's good. I love it. I love it. Okay. So I started looking, I closed my eyes. Thank you. I closed my eyes and all of a sudden I opened and it was like 1 minute left. I'm like, oh no. I don't want this to stop. I don't want this to stop. So if you wanted to do a little bit more, we can continue. Is that okay?
Sure thing.
Now that we're off the air, this will be like a bonus, a YouTube bonus on the Lillian McDermott radio show. Okay. So now I can participate. Okay.
Okay. So where we go from? Can we go from kind of the beginning?
Whatever you want. This is your show.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to pick it up. And
I've still got some light inside of me.
Yeah, awesome. So just reconnecting with that breath in and out through your nose. And as I mentioned too, you can focus on that breath going in and out from the belly area, expanding and contracting, or the passage where the air enters your nostrils. If you're focusing on that, and then begin to breathe in that golden light, and you can just see if you can see that color. And you might not be able to see it, you might be able to visualize it, you might be able to it might even give it a feeling, a sensation, a thought, a sound even, but just breathing that golden light in. And filling up from the very tips of your toes, seeing that light filling you, your ankles, and moving up. Each breath in, up to the knees, through to your thighs, your waist, groin area, pelvis, and even into your belly. And up to your chest. And flowing down now to your arms, right to your fingertips. your wrists, elbows, and your shoulder area. Right to the very tip of your head now. Keep the breath going. And begin to feel that golden light coursing through your veins, spreading to every muscle, every cell of your entire body. And so much so that you begin to, on the breath out, it's filled you up. You can begin to release this golden light to the area around you. So it begins to encompass you. And spreads out within the room that you're in. Within the house or the office that you're in. Really begins to expand now. You're bathed in this golden light and you're beginning to send this light out into the township, wherever you are, the city that you're in. See this golden light emanating from you. It's not disconnected. You are a part of this. It is a part of you. And even further now, this golden light begins to expand past your city into your entire state where you live. Feel that entire state surrounded in peace, in love. That's what this golden light is representing. That's what this golden light is. Peace and love. And now to your entire country, sending out this peace, this golden light, this love to the entire country, bathed in this beautifulness. Begins to spill over now to the ocean's edge, begins to travel across the oceans. Begins to reach out to encompass the entire earth. Feeling this just golden light melting right around the globe, encompassing the beautiful Mother Earth with this love, this peace that is coming from you, that is coming from your heart. And you are giving just through your intention. Creating peace, creating love across all corners of the globe. And any time that you feel a disconnection, that you can recall this meditation and you can recall this visualization, that you are connected to everything, everything. You are not separate. And all you need to do is to fill your cup with the peace and love, this golden light, and share this. Allow this to spill forth into every corner of the globe. And just to end this, I'd like you to just see this golden light now beginning to go into the earth from your feet. And you might like to now bring yourself back by just wiggling your fingers and toes and coming back into the environment that you're in. Taking in 3 deep breaths. And welcome home, my friends. Welcome home.
Oh, that was great, Jason. Thank you so much. What an honor to have you on the show today. You know, as I was, I think I'm just going to clip that and just going to play it over and over. That was great. Robert, I hope you like that too. I don't know if you're still listening, but that was really special. Thank you so much, Jason.
Oh, you're most welcome.
You know, as I was listening to, there was a couple of things I wanted to go back to. I wanted that I wrote down. You were talking about The Secret and how impactful that was with you. And I remember just recently I picked up the book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Mm-hmm. That book, have you read this book?
I've read that a while back, but I've got to admit at that time when I read it, it was more of a quick scan. But I've heard a lot of the teachings of it from listening to Bob Proctor, and it's an amazing book.
It is an amazing book, and they've done the edited version of it so they can make it more. But this book was written in 1937, so that means it took him 20 years to do the research. And so think about this. And he started this book, 20 years prior to 1937. And it's like The Secret. It's like, you know, this man had this vision. It's like The Secret isn't a secret. It's been around for such a long time. The one thing I didn't like about the documentary, The Secret, it was about money. And Think and Grow Rich, you think, okay, it's about money. But the reality is, it's about abundance. It's about abundance.
Of all kinds. Yeah. Some parts of The Secret, you know, it's, you know, seeing that themselves in the Ferrari and things like that. It's purely about abundance, and rather than focusing on the material stuff. Sure, some stuff is okay. You know, it's okay. It's nice to have some material things, but to focus on that solely, no, doesn't do it for me.
No, and that was my only feedback about the Secret. But with Napoleon Hill, you know, and one of the things that many of the positive thinkers and this mentality of keeping a positive attitude and manifestation is that they don't really talk a lot about the work that needs to be done. And I'm sure that, you know, as you were watching The Secret and coming up with this audio for children to remember their worth and that connection with the divine, I'm saying that, you know, you probably put in a lot of time for that project, and it just didn't happen. You know, you have to stay focused, and as well as take that next step and that follow every avenue required.
Absolutely. To end up getting that end goal, we have to do some parts of it that we're not going to even like to do. But for the most part, if we're in alignment with it, you know, if it's something joyous, most of it is beautiful work, and time can just seem to just go like that, you know. But we definitely need to commit. It's not something that does fall into our lap, this manifestation thing. Well, the way I look at it is this, you know, we talked about the 9-year-old boy and of the peace and everything. I think what that kid wanted to do, I haven't told you too, that I also set up myself in a little radio studio when I was a kid, you know, covering and recording, went to the old cassettes. Now, that has taken me 40 years of to manifest in various ways, in different pathways, from singing on stage to recording CDs. So in a way, it's about, realizing what we want to do, but then going on with life, setting that intention, trusting, and then moving through life. And
I
yeah.
love it. I love it. I hope that you will come back and be on the show again and again and again, because I really have enjoyed this time with you. And I love your spirit, and I see your intention is so pure. And I hope that that continues on for you, because when you're in that 9-year-old little boy mode, you're invincible.
Oh wow, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk with you, Lillian. It really
Yeah.
has. I feel so blessed to have
Well,
had you today.
the feeling is mutual. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, and for sharing your talents, your gifts, and your just for giving, and for understanding that we also need to receive. And so I trust that. I'm glad that you're doing this balance, and helping us all achieve it as well. So thank you.
Oh,
And to you, my viewing friends, I'm so grateful that you were able to experience this time with us today. And I look forward to our next conversation.